Hello guys, you are welcome back to Larbi Premium Consult. On this channel, we share educational content ranging from mathematics to accounting.
We'll take it from there. Do all to share the video so that others will join us in that case. Let's share the video. If you haven't liked it as well, like it as well so that once you like it, that's by this way it will get to other people also to get to watch it in that line. So do all to share the video, like it as well, and then let's get started in that line. So we're going to look at the following questions just to explain the concept on break-even analysis as part of decisions that business people make in relation to their performance, in relation to their output and what they actually want to achieve at the end of the day. And we said break-even is also one of the key decisions or two that help business people to make said decisions. So we are going to look at the from the business perspective, some questions to explain the concept better. So if you haven't watched the video, right after this, or I'll advise that you go through the principles underlying break-even analysis before even you proceed to this in that line. So let's look at the following questions as we get along. Below is an extract from the records of Anti-Enunam, that's Akatasi business, who sells palm oil in the Kejetia market. So we have the annual face cost, we have the price, we have the price of 10-liter gallon to be 65. We have the variable cost also to be what 39.5. We have the desired plant sales. We also have for the desired annual plant sales. So we have desired monthly plant sales and desired annual plant sales. So let's share the video and like it as well as we move along in that case. So our first question here is, what is the monthly break even in Q? So you see here, break even point in Q. So meaning that we want to find what the break even point in what in quantity, right? So we are asked to find BEP in quantity. That's why you see this Q here, right? Yeah. So that's what we are asked to find. So you're asked to find break even point in quantity. So you say that BEP in quantity should be equal to, but remember here we were given what a monthly plant sales as well, the monthly what sorry annual plant sales in that line, but here we are asked to find what the monthly break even what quantity, break even quantity. But remember we were given what annual face what cost, we were given annual face cost. Here's what I was saying when we were discussing the previous lesson on break-even analysis. Getting to the latter part of it, I was saying that at times the examiner will put you to the corner to actually deal with what the periodic when it comes to business activity. They will ask you to, they will give you an information for annual details and ask you to, let's say, find monthly what details. So when you are in that situation, then you must know how to actually deal with that in that line. So we are asked to find a break-even point in quantity. That's monthly break-even what point. So how do you do that? So you say that to find a break-even point is equal to our fixed cost, all right, divided by our what? Selling price minus the variable cost or in per unit, right? So that is how we find what our break-even point in terms of what quantity. But since we are asked to find the break-even point in terms of quantity, the monthly form, then we need to divide the first cost by 12 so that at the end of the day, we can actually have everything in what in monthly what basis. But remember, the annual first cost was the first cost was given per what annum. That's in a year. So to find that of monthly, you must divide the first cost by 12 so that we get what the monthly fixed cost to be used to calculate the break-even point for the month. And I believe that is clear. So here, here's what we're going to do. We'll say that it should be equal to 52,800.24 divided by what? 12. Okay. And then divide all by the selling price for 10 liter gallon was what? 65. Minus that of what? The variable cost to be equal to, the variable cost is equal to 39, 39, 39.5. So with the help of your calculator, let's see what you can get from this. With the help of your calculator, you should be able to get, because this is a theory, you must simplify it in a form where you can get all the methods and all the marks in that line. So you must first of all divide the fixed cost by what? 12. So whatever you get, you then deal with it in that line. So what are we getting as what? Our fixed cost. So we should be able to get our fixed cost with our calculator. Sorry, come in. So let's continue. So here, our first cost per month is going to be 4,400 point 4,400.02. You can confirm that with your calculator and let's see. Okay, divided by 65 minus 39.5, you should be able to get what? 25.5. So at the end of the day, when you divide this 4,400.02 by 25.5, you should be able to get your break-even point in quantity to be equal to, let's have it here, to be equal to 172 in 4 decimal place, 5, 4, 98, 5498. But remember, this is in quantity. There's no situation where you have a quantity which one is half, or depend on the quantity. You should have everything as or a full quantity. All right. So in this case, you should be able to run it to the nearest what? Whole number. Because we are talking about what? 10 liter gallon. 10 liter gallon. So everything should be what? In gallon. You can't have a half gallon in that line. So everything should be in full, right? So run it to the nearest what? Whole number. And what are we getting? So when you run to the nearest whole number, you should be able to get what? 173. So that becomes the break-even point in terms of quantity, right? So we have what? 173 liters of what? Gallon, right? So you have it in that line, then you are done. So that is that you need to know in that line. But when getting to the calculation part, when you're asked to calculate any other thing that will have a relation to the use of what? The break-even point in quantity, you must make use of what? The decimal. For the calculation's sake, you must make use of the decimal. But in terms of what? Making decision and interpretation, we will say that we can have a quantity that is half ton or kind of, right? Every quantity expected to be what? A full quantity. Is that okay? And so therefore, if it is in decimal, then you run it to the nearest whole so that you get your answer in that line. So let's take note of that. So that is our break-even point in quantity in monthly what? Terms. In monthly terms, we are getting what? 173 liters of what? Gallon. So we also asked to find what is the monthly break-even in value. That's why you see the currency here in what? In value. So to do that too, once you're able to calculate your break-even point in quantity right, it becomes very simple for you to what? Calculate what? Your break-even point in value. So we say that break-even point in value should be equal to, because that the break-even point in value deal with what? Money, right? That's it, deal with what? Monetary terms. So you must attach money to the quantity. So that should be equal to what? Break-even point in quantity, all right? Multiplying what? Your selling price per what? Quantity, or selling price per what? Unit. So as I always say, if once you're able to get the break-even point in quantity right, just multiply that by the selling price per quantity or unit, and you're able to get what? Your break-even point in value. But remember here, we were asked to find what? The monthly break-even point in value. That is why we are multiplying straight by the selling price, because you are able to calculate what? Our monthly break-even. So let's take note of that. So in that line, for the calculation purpose sake, we will make use of what? 172.5498. That is in 4 decimal place, right? So that becomes what? 172.5498 multiplying what? That of selling price to be what? 65. So what are we getting as total break-even in value, right? Break-even point in value for the month. And with my case, I had what? 11,000. I had 11,200 and what? 201.737. But you know, currency is always expected to convert it to what? 2 decimal places, right? So we'll say that approximately 2 decimal places, that becomes what? 11,215.7 what? 4. Because remember the number after the 3, is 7, which is what? Greater than what? 4 in terms of running up. So we run it just 1 to the 3 and we are getting what? 4. So that becomes what? 11,200 and what? 15.7 what? 4. So this is what we need to understand going forward. Okay, so question 3, we were asked to find what is the contribution per 10-liter gallon. Remember, we were given that of the price, that is the selling price to be what? Selling price per 10-liter gallon to be what? 65. Okay, and as well, we're also giving what? The variable cost of what? 10-liter gallon to be what? 39.5. Right? So if you are asked to find the contribution per 10-liter gallon, then we are interested in finding the contribution per 10-liter gallon, right? And how do you find contribution? We said to find contribution should always be equal to in terms of per unit or per gallon. So per 10-liter gallon, it should be equal to what? The selling price per 10-liter gallon. Compare that to the variable cost per 10-liter gallon. And I believe that is clear. So here we know the selling price per 10-liter gallon to be what? 65. Okay. And that of what the variable cost per 10-liter gallon is also what? 39 point what? 5. You can clearly see that from here. This is going to be our contribution, right? So I don't want to take the difference between the two. We are getting what? 25.50 as our contribution for the day. 25.50 as our contribution for the day. All right. So this is how we calculate contribution. Remember, this is contribution per unit. If you're asked to calculate total contribution should be equal to the total sales minus the total variable cost, and you get your total contribution. If you want to find per unit, then it is total contribution divided by the quantity involved, and you get your contribution per unit. Or better still, you find per unit selling price, you find per unit variable cost, you take the difference between the two, and you are getting what? Your contribution per unit. And the per unit here in this case is what? 10-liter gallon. So this is what we need to understand going forward. All right, question number 4. As we move along, if you have any question, you can drop in the comment section so that we'll take it from there. How many 10-liter gallons must she sell in a year to break even? So here we are talking about what? A year. Yearly break even. So we are not talking about month, we are talking about what? Annum, right? A year. So how do we find that? So meaning that we are interested in finding the break-even point for the whole year, right? That you must sell to what? Break even. And remember here, we are talking about what? 10-liter gallons. We are interested in what? The total quantity that an anti-engineer must sell to break even, right? So we'll say that break even, BEP, that is in quantity, right? So let me have my Q here. I will say for the year or yearly should be equal to, and remember, we know that of what? The break-even point in quantity for what? For monthly. So once you know that, which is what? 172.54984 per calculation purpose, we make use of what? The decimal part of this break-even, right? In terms of the quantity. So once we know the monthly break-even, for us to get for the year, it is simple. Just multiply that by what? 12. Or if you want to go through the whole process to you, say that is the total fixed cost divided by the contribution per unit, and you get that. You're going to get the same thing. But if you also understand this better, you can multiply that by what? The monthly break-even point in quantity, and you're able to get your total quantity in that line. So let's take note of that. So here you can use any of the approach and you still get the same thing in that line. So we say that break-even point in quantity should be equal to that of what? The monthly break-even point in quantity. That's monthly, right? And then multiply that by what? 12. So we want to know per annum break-even that we need to actually sell to break even, where we neither make a profit or we neither make a loss. So what are we getting? We know that here is what? 172 point what? Is it 5? Let's see, was it 54? Yeah, 5498. So we have what? 5498 multiplying what? 12. And what are we getting? What are we getting? With my case, I had what? 2000 and what? 70.597647, right? But we know that we can have a quantity of this kind, right? It should be in a full quantity. So we run everything to the nearest whole so that we get what? The total number of what? 10-gallon liter that we must sell to break what? Even. And that should be what? To the nearest whole, that should be what? 2070. Remember, the decimal part of this, which is what? The number that comes after the decimal is 5. So we can run it up to 1 and then it will change the 0 to what? 1. So that becomes what? 2071 as what? Our 10-liter gallons that you must sell to break what? Even. So this becomes the total quantity involved, right? And you write that 2071 gallons of what? Whatever they are selling, and you are good to what? Go. So let's take note of that. Now, question number 5. What is a monthly margin of safety? What is a monthly margin of safety sales? So you are talking about monthly margin of safety sales. So you are interested in what? The value, the value, the value, right? So you want to know the value. So how do you find margin of safety? We say that margin of safety, we will mostly use what? MOX to represent margin of safety in terms of month. So I will say monthly, right? That should be equal to what? The difference between what? The sales, the planned sales, right? Minus what? Our break-even point. Our break-even point in sales. That is what we have in currency. Our break-even point in sales. So what is happening here? So you are asked to find what? The monthly margin of safety, right? So remember here we were given what? We were given a desired monthly plan sales, and as well, we're also given a desired annual plan sale. Always, we expect that since we are dealing with monthly, annual, monthly, yearly basis kind of information, we expect that if you're able to divide your annual plan sales by 12, you should be able to get what? The monthly sales that was given in the question. But here lies the case, when you divide, let's see whether you're going to get that or not. So let me bring in my calculator here so that we'll take it from there. Share. Right. So let's see. Let's try something here. Let's see. We have that of our desired word, desired monthly plan sales, right? Which is 15,850. And we have what our desired annual plan sales to be what? 136,385.2. Okay. So we expect that when we divide 136,385.20 by 12, we should be able to get what? 15,850. But let's see what happens. So we are getting what? 11,000. We are getting 11,000. We are getting 11,000. I hope we can see. We are getting 11,365 point what? 43. I mean, in terms of what currency, 2 decimal place 43. which is quite different from what we're given in the question as a desired monthly plan sales. So if it were to be you, which one are you going to use to calculate your monthly margin of safety using these two information? Because we expect that once we divide the annual sales by 12, you should be able to get the desired monthly. The reason being that break-even are based on assumptions, and we make use of what estimations. We make estimations, and as well, remember, once you are making estimation, doesn't mean that you're going to get the exact estimation that you made. No, it's not possible. There might be a deviation, there might be an increase or a decrease, right? That's how come you are seeing what a different what values altogether. So you are going to compete for the two and make a decision here and see the effect of the two. All right. So let's see. So yeah, first of all, we're going to make use of what was given in the question here, the desired monthly plan sales, which is what 15,800 and what 50, right? And after we compare that to the monthly break even and see what will happen at the end of the day. So in doing that, here we have what 15,000, 15,000. So let's see, it was what 15,850, 15,850 minus the break-even point for the month in terms of value was also what 11,200 and what 15.7 what 4. All right, so we have what 11,215 point what 74. Now let's see what is happening here. So when we take the difference between the two, what are we getting? In this case, with my calculator, I had a total of what 4,600 and what 34.26. In two decimal places, I was getting what 4,634.26. Please just join us. Please do want to share the video. If you haven't liked the video, like it as well so that others will get a benefit to also watch on the channel. Please and please do want to like and then share the video so that others will get a benefit also to join us. It's very important. Once you are learning, also get others also to learn and help us all to achieve our goals so far as our academics are concerned. So do want to share the video, like it as well. If you haven't subscribed to the channel too, this is the time for you to subscribe so that you get more tips about your courses that you are studying on various institutions in that line. So thank you so much for joining us on our live session today. So this is what you're going to get as what your monthly margin of safety based on the information that was given to us as a monthly desired plan sales, right? Which is 15,850. Now let's see. If that is the case, that is fine. But let's also make use of the desired annual desired plan sales. I mean the annual plan sales, right? Because we realized that when we divided that, we were getting what 11,365.43, right? So that also becomes what our monthly plan sale based on the annual sales that was given to us, right? So we can also use that to compare that to our break-even point, and let's see the effect between the two. So here we are getting what 11,365. So we have that here. So we have that here as another option, and let's see. So let's say we have, let's make it as or alternative. I know the reason why we are computing this. Going for you understand why we computed this in that line. So here, based on the annual desired plans, you can say that our margin of safety, MOX, in monthly terms should be equal to, so here too should be equal to what? So let me even code this straight away here. 136,385 divided by 12, right? Yeah, divided 0.2, yeah, 2.20, 0.20, yeah, divided by 12, and then compare that to our break-even point that we computed in terms of value, which was what 11,215.74. And you realize that here we're getting what 11,000. We're getting 11,000. Let's see, we're getting 11,300 and what 65.43. In two decimal places, we're getting what 43, right? So we compare that to our break-even point in value, and that should be equal to 215.74. So what are we getting in total as a difference? So here we'll say that minus 11,365.43. So what am I writing here? You compare that to 11,200 and what? 15.74. I think it was 74. Yeah, 74. And we are getting what? 149.69. Remember, this is totally different from using the monthly desire that was given to us in the question in terms of the sale. So you realize that when you use the two approach, you're not getting the same thing. And going forward, you understand which one should be the correct way for us to make our decision, right? Or the correct way to actually go, right? So let's keep this here and let's move on. And you understand the reason why we computed the two going forward, all right? So let's continue. Question number 6. Well, actually, we'll explain all based on what we have done here. Question number 6. What is an annual margin of safety sales? What is an annual margin of safety sales? So we are talking about annual margin of safety. So here to MOX for the whole year, right? So MOX yearly or year for the year. So that should be equal to the annual plan sale, right? Compare that to the break-even point for the whole year, right? So that should be equal to, so what are we getting? We know the annual sales, the plan to be what? 136. I think it was here. 136,385.2. 136,385 point what? 20. Okay. Compare that to the break-even point in sales for the whole year. Have you able to compute for that one? I think we computed for just the quantity, but for the yearly, in terms of sale, we haven't computed for that. So here, all I want to do is just to pick this value, right? That is monthly, and then multiply by what? 12, and then multiply by 12. So this is what we're going to do. We will say that that should be equal to what? 11,215.74. I think I'm right. Yeah. Yeah. And then multiply this by what? 12. So we are multiplying this by what? 12. So what are we getting at the end of the day? What are we getting at the end of the day? What are we getting at the end of the day? So when you multiply this by 12 here, you're going to get 136. Just repeat this again. 136,385.20. When you multiply 11,215.74 by 12, or here we should make use of what? The 737. This one, where is it? You should make use of this, not necessarily the 74. Calculation says you have to make use of this figure, right? Okay, so let me make use of this. So let me bring in this. Let me make changes here. So instead of this, we can clean this. So it should be 737 multiplying what? 12. That's for the year, for the whole year. So what are we getting? With my case, I had what? 134, right? 588.844. And that's what I got here. Okay. So when you compare the two, I was getting what? 1,700 and what? 96.36 in 2 decimal place. This is what I was getting. Now let's see something from here. Let's go back. We know our annual margin of safety sales is what? 1,796.36. All things being equal, we expect that per annum margin of safety sales should be greater than monthly sales, right? Right? That's the goal. We expect at the end of the day because per annum means what? 12 months what our margin of safety sales that has been added together as we are getting our margin of safety. But let's see from here, based on the figure that was given to us as the desired monthly sale. When we compare that to our break-even point in value, we were getting there. So even it should tell you that the margin of safety for the month alone here, right, is greater, even greater than that of what? The yearly margin of safety sales. And how is that possible? And how is that possible? So that was the reason why I allowed us to calculate the two. So in such case like this, you make use of what? This, the annual plan sale divided by 12, and then compare that to your break-even point in value. You don't make use of what was given to us as the monthly plan sale, because you realize that when you compute for the two, you are getting for the month, you are getting 4,634.26, which is even 3 times together as we computing, we multiplying this by 3, where we get the monthly sales. Here lies the case, shouldn't be the case. But for the whole year, we expect that for the whole year, you should be able to get a margin of sale that is greater than the monthly margin of safety sales. So when it happens like that, then you must make use of what? The division by 12 of the annual plan sales. So that you divide that by 12, you get your monthly sales. You then compare that to your break-even point that you have calculated, so that you get your margin of safety for what? The month. This was the reason why I allow us to compete for the two. So let's take note of that. Let's take note of that. Right. So this is what we need to know going forward. Right. So let's take note. If you have any question, you can drop in the comment section whilst we move along that line. If you haven't liked the video, do all to like so that we will take it from there. Question number 7. If she desired a profit of 2,500 per month, so here we are making use of the period, right? We are talking about month, yearly. So we need to understand how the two actually relate. And in terms of periodicity, how they relate, so that we don't make mistakes going forward. So this is what the question is saying, that if Antonina desired a profit of what? 2,500 per month, how much sales would she have to make to achieve that? So here, what are we talking about? We are talking about what? Target profit. We are talking about what? Target what? Profit. How much sales must she able to make? Must she have to make to achieve what? That. So you are talking about what? Target profit. You are talking about sale. Then we are talking about target profit in terms of what? Is it in terms of sale or in terms of what? Quantity. So here we are talking about target profit in terms of what? Sale. So you want the value of the target profit. How much she can sell, so that she can make a profit of what? 2,500. That becomes a target profit. So the target profit is actually serving as what? A guide for her to make certain sales that will able to help her to achieve that profit of what? 2,500. Right? So we will say that target profit, TP, in terms of value or sale. Here we are computing for the month, dealing with what? Monthly values, right? Should be equal to the fixed cost plus the target profit divided by the selling price minus the variable cost, all in per unit, right? And then multiply that, all in per unit, and then multiply that by what? The selling price per unit. So the same value that you substitute here, the same is going to present it here. So let's take note of that. Okay. But since we are asked to deal with in monthly basis, then our fixed cost should be a monthly what? Fixed cost. And remember, when we computed for the monthly fixed cost, we had what? What was the figure? We had what? 4,400, 4,400.02. So we are going to make use of this as our monthly fixed cost, added that to that of the target profit, and then divide by the contribution. At the end of the day, multiply or by the selling price, and we are good to go. I believe that is fine. So here, this is what we're going to get at the end of the day. We're going to have our fixed cost, which was what? 4,400.02 plus our target profit of what? 2,500, divide all by the contribution, which is the difference between the selling price minus the variable cost, all in per what? Unit, all in per unit. And what are we getting? So here we have what? 65 minus what? Minus 39.5, or multiplying what? 65. So here you need to break it down, okay? Because this is a more theory form, so you must simplify so that you get all your marks, or get all your methods to get all your marks in that line. So when we add the two, what are we getting? When we add 4,400 and pull it here, 4,400.02 plus 2,500, So we are getting what? 6,000. So we are getting here to be what? Can I get a space here? Okay. We are getting here to be what? 6,900.02 divided by, so 65, and compare that 39.5. We are getting what? 25.5. Okay. And then multiply all by what? 65. This is what you need to do. So at the end of the day, we have what? We have 6900.02 divided by 25.5, and then multiply that by what? 65. And we are getting what? What are we getting? We are getting a total figure of what? So since this in value, we bring in our currency, 17,588 point what? 588 point. So let me check that here. Let me try to. Okay, let me bring it here. So 5 in 2 decimal place, 17,588 point what? 2, it should be 29. Okay, come on. 29. And we are good to what? Go. So this is what we need to understand when it comes to the target profit for month. So this was a monthly what? Target profit. So if you want for the whole year target profit, then what I want to do is to multiply what? 17,588.29 by what? 12, so that we get what? The yearly what? Target profit based on the profit that Enteninam want to achieve at the end of the day. So this is the value that we must make as a sale for us to achieve a target profit of what? 2,500. And I hope that is clear. So that is with question 7. Then question number 8. If she desired an annual profit, so you see what is coming in here, but here lies the case, a different what? Profit figure. So we can't actually use the previous one that we just computed. Okay. So if she desired an annual profit of 26,000, how much sales would she have to make to achieve that? So here we are talking about annual what? Profit. And so therefore we are making use of what? Annual what? Data, not monthly data, annual data, right? So this is what we need to understand. So let me try to clean this because you have already computed that. So no wahala. So since we are asked to compute for the annual profit, sorry, the target profit annually, then we will say that our target profit TP should be equal to our annual fixed cost, which was in this case was what? 52,800.24, right? So bring that here, 52,800.24 plus the target profit for the annum to be what? 26,000. Okay, and then divide all by the contribution. We can show that we divide by the contribution, which is what? 65 minus 39.5, and then multiplied all by what? Because we are talking about how much, so we are interested in the value. So we then multiply that by what? 65 again, as being the selling price, right? So at the end of the day, what are we getting? So when we add 52,800 plus 26,000, what are we getting? What are we getting? So that's going to be, with my case, okay, let's see. I think I didn't compute it for that. So 52,800.24 plus 26,000. We are getting 78,800.24. So that's going to give us 78,800.24, and then divide by what? 25.5, multiplying all by what? 65. Okay, so with our calculator, we divide this by 25.5. We are getting this, and then multiply that by 65. And you should be able to get what? 200,863 point. So in 2 decimal place becomes a 0.36 in that line. So let's take note. So here we are getting what? We are getting 200,800 and what? 63.36. 0.36. So let's take note of that. Let's take note of that. 200,863.36. That's in two decimal places, and you are good to go. So this becomes the annual what so that Antonina needs to actually achieve if she wants to make a profit of what 26,000. So let's take note of that. Please do want to share the video and like it as well. Please and please share and then like the video. It's very important to us here in that line. Okay, question number 9. Let's wrap up so that we get it done. If she, if her sale for the month for a particular period was what 25,106.25, how many 10-liter gallons of palm oil has she sold? So for a particular month, they are telling us that she had a sale of what 25,106.25. All right. And they are asking us how many 10-liter gallons of palm oil has she sold for that particular what month. So here, here's what we're going to do. We are interested in finding the quantities that Antinam sold for that particular what month. So we are talking about what the quantity, 10-liter quantity. So we are interested in the Q. So the Q should be equal to what? The sale for that particular month, right? The sale for that particular month, I mean the total, so divided by what? The selling price, right? Because when we multiply the selling price by the quantity that she sold, that's where we get our total. So we say cross multiplication. Okay, that will fetch us the total sale that she made at the end of the day. So if you want to get the quantity, then we divide the total sale by the selling price and we get the quantity that she sold for that particular what month. So what are we getting here? We have what the sale to 25,106.25. All that we want to do is to divide by what 65. And what are we getting as our quantity that she sold for that particular period? In this case, I had mine to be what 300 and what 86.25. But remember, here we are talking about quantity, so you can't make use of what a decimal. There's no quantity of 10-liter gallon that is what half. We don't have a gallon that is, I mean, half what chopped off. No. So it should be what a full what 10-liter gallon, and that should be so you run it up to the nearest whole, and that should fetch us what 386. Because remember, after a decimal, 2 is a code number. By code means we can't run it up to make it 1 to the next number. So we just leave it to the nearest who has what 386 10-liter gallons of what. Then just write that details and you are good to go, right? So that is what we need to know. And then question number 10. How much obligation has she got to meet per month? So here, the obligation that the question is talking about here, I mean, we have a number of obligations that she must be able to meet per month. One, it can be the fixed cost that she has to pay for every month. So for us to know the fixed cost that he has to pay for every month, you take the annual fixed cost divided by 12. That becomes what? The amount that is going to pay for the month. And that becomes the obligation that she supposed to actually meet per month. And as well, we can also talk about the sale, the total sale that she must be able to sell for for the month. And that one should also take into account the desired plan annual sales divided by 12. So once you're able to also divide that, whatever we get as our sale is also what she also aim to achieve or to meet for the month. So here she has a lot of obligations to achieve, but for the purpose of this, we will make use of the first cost that is supposed to pay, and as well the annual sales, the monthly sales that is supposed to achieve for that particular month in that line. So let's take note of that. So all that you want to do is take the first cost divided by 12. That becomes one of the obligation, and then as well, when you take into account the sales too, you take the annual desired plan sale, divide that by 12. Whatever you get also becomes the monthly sale that she's supposed to achieve. So whatever you get as a figure, it therefore tell us that based on the information above, these are the obligations that she's supposed to achieve at the end of the day. So let's take note of that. Let's take note of that. So here, I'm not going to work anything. You are going to work it out. Just take the first cost, divide by 12, take the annual plan sales, which is this, right, divided by 12, and you're able to tell us how much sales you're able to achieve for the month and how much fixed cost is she supposed to pay for every what month? That becomes her obligation for the month that is supposed to what meet. So let's take note of that. So let's also look at this question, or I should give this question to you for you to try, or you should solve it. It's the same thing. I should follow the same principle that we are actually explaining here. Okay, so we have a yam seller in Kumasi market has an annual fixed cost of what? 48,000 to deal with. She sells her yam. Going forward, if you have any question, please drop it in the comment section. So we go. Okay. She sells her yam for an average price of what? 10 Ghana cedis. This is a Ghanaian question, so that's why you see Ghana cedis. And her variable cost is what? 4.25. Okay, so now the question here is we are asked to use this information to answer question 11 to what? 13. How many tubers of yam must this trader sell in a month to break even? So here we are talking about what? Monthly break even. So all that you expect to do is to divide the annual fixed cost. Well, we have the annual fixed that was given. The annual fixed cost is very important. Annual fixed cost of 48,000. All that you want to do is to divide that by 12 so that you get your monthly fixed cost and then apply the contribution. And you get your break even point in what? In quantity per month, and you are good to go. So all that you want to do here is that we will say that our break even point, in quantity, right? I mean unit. So we represent the exam to be unit here should be equal to that of what? Our 48,000 as our annual fixed cost. Divide that by 12 and then divide all by the contribution, for which we know is what? The average price, which is the selling price of what? 10. Okay, minus that of our variable cost of what? 4.25. So that becomes the monthly break even what? Monthly break even for Antinina. Sorry, I say Antinina. This is a Kumasi market, a yam seller rather. So this is a different scenario altogether. All right. So what are we getting here? On top here, what are we getting? When we divide 48 by 12, what are we getting? I think we are getting 4. Is that true? 4,000? Are we getting 4,000? Let's see. I think we are right. 48 divided by 12. Yeah, we are getting 4,000. So that's 4,000. So 4,000 divide. So we have 4,000 here. Divided by our contribution. So here, when we take 4.25 from 10, you should be able to get, I think it should be 5.75. You can confirm that unless if that is true. So 10 minus 4.25, here we are getting 5.75. And that should fetch us what? So when we divide 4,000 by 5.75, you should be able to get what? 695.65. But as I said, always for decision purposes and interpretation, you can't get a yam that is what half broken or chopped off. So we expect that the yam should suppose to be what? A full yam, right? So if it is 695, that is fine. 0.6521. That's going to be used for calculation when we need it going forward. But for us to know the quantity of yam that is supposed to sell for a month, that should be to the nearest what? Whole. Always take note of that. It's very, very important. So what are we getting here? We are getting what? 695 point what? So let's say 2 decimal place, or let's take 4, 6522. So let's say 6522. The reason why you're making 22 here, because here, as you can see here, we have what? 6521. So after the 1, we have 7. You can run it out to the 1 you're making it what? 2. So that's why we have what? 6522 in that line. But for decision purpose and interpretation, we will say that it should be what? 696. So that should be the number of yams that is supposed to sell for a month to break even. So let's take note of that. And then question 12, it says that if she targets a profit of 25,000 per annum, how much sales should she make per annum to achieve? So if you understand this, you see that it actually follows the same pattern. Once you understand the formula, and once you understand the concept better, no matter how they put the question, you're expected to what? Get it and get it right. Right? So they are not difficult. Always just follow it, get the formulas right, and then apply it, and you are good to what? Go, right? So we are talking about what the target profit. The target profit. We are talking about sales. So we are talking about the target profit in terms of what? Value. The target profit in terms of value. So let's take note of that. So here we have our TP. We have our TP in terms of value or in terms of sale to be equal to. So we are talking about per annum, not monthly. So we make use of what? Per annum information. So that should be equal to our fixed cost per annum plus our target profit per annum. Divide all by the contribution, the selling price minus what? The variable cost all in per unit, and then multiply by the same selling price that we are getting here. So let's take note of that. So what are we getting? We have our fixed cost to be what? 48,000. Okay, plus our target profit to be what? 25,000. Divide all by what? 10 minus 4.25, and then multiply all by what? 10. That's what we need to what? Do. So in that case, we will say that 48 plus 25, what are we getting? What are we getting? With my case, I had 73. So let me bring it at the top here. We have 73,000 divided by what? 5.75 as the denominator, 10 minus 4.25, okay? And then multiply by 10. So here your calculator should help you to get your answer in that line. So let me pull it here. Okay, so we have 73,000, right? Divided by what? 5.75. And then multiply that by what? 10. What are we getting? So we are getting what? I don't know, we are getting 12, sorry, 126,956. For currency sake, we'll run it to two decimal places, and that should be equal to what? 52. And we are good to what? Go. So let's take note of that. So that becomes our target profit in terms of what? Value. Then, question number 13, we are saying that assuming in a given month, for which I always tell my students I've stopped assuming, but we'll ask students to assume, right? But I'll tell my students I've stopped assuming, so don't tell me I should assume, right? But let's go. That's just by the way. So assuming in a given month, she targets to make a sale of 8,900. Though your teacher is saying that he has stopped assuming, but he's asking you to assume. So that is how life is. It's not straightforward, okay? So always try to assume. So we are all assuming here. Assuming in a given month, she targets to make a sale of what? 8,900. What is a margin of safety for the month? So that is the assumption. So the assumption here is what? The sale for the month, right? Which is 8,900. The question is asked to find what? The margin of safety for the month. So we know that MOX, right? So here monthly basis should be equal to the sale, right? In month, compare that to what? The break-even point, and also in months. Remember, here is in value, right? But that's why you see the currency here. It's in value. So let's take note. So here, the sale in value, compare that to the break-even point in value. So the sale in value, compare that to the break-even point in value. By comparison, we subtract, okay? So we have the sale for the month that she assumed to be 8,900. Compare that to our break-even point in value. But remember, we have our break-even point in units for the month to be what? For the calculation sake, we make use of this, which is what? 695.6522. All that I want to do for us to get value, multiply this by what? The selling price, which is what? 10. So that we are good to what? Go. So that becomes what? 695.6522. Multiply that by what? 10, which is the selling price per what? Tuber of yam. And what are we getting? We have 8,900 minus, so that becomes 695. Come on. 695. Okay. So we have 695 point, is this 65? Yeah. Okay, 6522 multiplying 10. So you're going to get what? 6956. So 6956 point 522. So when we take the difference between this and that of the sale, which is what? 8,900, then we are getting what? 1943 point what? So in two decimal places, let me put this here. So in two decimal places as currency, that should fetch us what? 1943 point what? 48. 48. So this becomes the monthly margin of safety when she assumed that for a particular month he made a sale of what? 8,900, right? We compare that to our break-even point in value, and then we are good to what? Go. So as I always say, once you're able to get your break-even point in quantity right, then you all that you want to do for you to get in value, just multiply by the selling price and you are good to go. Don't even repeat the formula again and then multiply by a selling price. That would be a waste of time. Once you get the quantity right, just multiply that by the selling price and then you are good to go. So this is all about the break-even analysis, things that we need to know, the conversion from yearly to monthly and other kind of period that you may meet. I mean, subsequently in your exam that you may write in future. So this the tricks and these are the things that we need to know when it comes to break-even analysis. Actually, okay. So if you have any question, you can bring it on board so that we'll share. If you don't have any question to then that will be great. And I'm hoping that you have gotten to understand everything concerning break-even analysis in that line. In that line. So if you have any question, you can bring it on board. Today, I'm not trying to share my camera in full because I don't have my lighting in here. That is why I'm not trying to share my camera in full. So let me see if I can share like this. Even that you wouldn't see me well. Okay. So if you have any question, let's see. If you have any question, you can bring it on board so that we'll actually share. Okay, Judith was saying that what? Please, the writings are blurred. Okay, I think first that. So here you check your resolution and then we'll take it from there. The resolution at the three corner of your the device, based on the device that you're using, the top right corner, you see the three dots there. Just click on it and you follow the other informations and you're able to get the resolution for that. So that you select the highest one, then you're able to get the quality of it in that line. So if you have any question, please you can let me know before we bring the discussion for today to an end. If you haven't liked the video, please do all to like and share. Please and please like and share for me. Please and please like and share for me. If you haven't subscribed to today is your first time on the channel, thank you so much for joining us. If you're a member right from the beginning or you just joined us at the midway, thank you so much for joining us, right? And consistently actually watching our channel and our content. I do well appreciate that a lot. I don't take it for granted. So please and please, if today is your first time, do all to hit that red button and then turn the notification bell on so that once we go live or we upload any video, you should be able to get it right. So I'm taking in question. If you have any question, please let me know. Any question? Any question for me based on what we have discussed or based on our previous lecture on business math? If you have any question, let me know, please. If we don't have any question to share, then I'm grateful for actually joining us this evening, right? So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next section. That's next week, Sunday, where we take on the discussion further to look at simple interest and then compound interest, and I think promissory notes in that line. That's going to be the next week, coming next week, Sunday, in that line. So do all to always join us and then like it as well. So thank you so much for joining us today on our channel, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Hello guys, you are welcome back to Larbi Premium Consult. On this channel, we share educational content ranging from mathematics to accounting. welcome back to Larbi Premium Consult. On this channel, we share educational content ranging from mathematics to accounting.